what are the benefits of working with a fractional CMO?
Adding a fractional CMO to your team can bring big things for a small business. So a fractional CMO plays a critical role in shaping a business's marketing strategy and execution, just like a full-time CMO would.
Hey there, you're listening to the Priority Pursuit Podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping small business owners and leaders define, maintain, and pursue both their personal and business priorities so they can build lives and businesses they love. We're your hosts, Victoria Rayburn and Kelly Rice, and today, guys, we are actually changing things up a bit. You see, while Kelly and I typically co-host the show, for this episode, I have the pleasure of actually interviewing Kelly about a huge part of her job at Treefrog, which is serving as a fractional chief marketing officer for our clients. Kelly, I am so glad we're having this conversation today because I feel like there are so many small business owners and leaders who they just don't know where to go for strategic marketing advice, and they aren't familiar with the fractional CMO concept, but they could really benefit from having a chief marketing officer on their teams.
Yeah, I agree. Because great business leaders already know that having strong marketing leadership and effective marketing strategy are both critical for their success. And having someone dedicated to overseeing and owning a company's marketing strategy can give small businesses really big results. But as you and I both know, there's not a lack of really bad marketing advice out there. And this is why I'm so passionate about helping small business leaders understand that they have options when it comes to getting quality marketing leadership and advice, and how to figure out what is the best solution for their needs.
That is a key point because, a single solution doesn't work for every small business when it comes to marketing. And guys, this is why today we are talking about what a fractional CMO is, how hiring a fractional CMO can benefit small businesses, as well as the distinctions between a fractional CMO, a marketing consultant, and a marketing coach, because they are actually pretty different. Okay, so Kelly, to get this conversation started, would you give us all a quick overview of these marketing leadership options, specifically the difference between a CMO, a marketing consultant, and a marketing coach?
Absolutely. So we're going to start off with a fractional CMO, which they function as a chief marketing officer, and they're essentially someone who provides executive level marketing services on a part-time basis. So this is ideal for businesses that need high-level marketing strategy and leadership, but don't really need it in a full-time executive. So a fractional CMO, they'll come in with a wealth of experience, typically from various industries, and focus on building a long-term vision and establishing marketing strategies and systems. And they usually actually will even oversee your in-house marketing staff.
They're like a part-time employee, like you said, but I guess I just want to emphasize the fact, right? That they're really part of your team. They're part of your C-level executive team. It's not like they're coming in temporarily. They're there.
Right. They are there, and they're there to function basically as your chief marketing officer. But most small businesses don't need a full-time chief marketing officer, if that makes sense, right? Until they hit around $30 million in revenue, then it's probably time to look at a full-time CMO. So that's why it's beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about marketing consultants. I think that is just a term that most people hear, whether they actually know what it is or not. It's just kind of a buzzword in the small business community.
Right. So they're a little bit different than a fractional CMO because they're coming in more on a project focus basis, because they often help businesses tackle specific challenges or projects, like launching a new product or improving online presence or developing digital marketing systems. And they basically come in, they assess the situation and provide advice. Now, in some cases, a marketing consultant may assist with execution of the project, but that's not a normal function for usually a consultant. They're really just coming in and assessing and giving advice and kind of moving on from there, saying, hey, this is what you should do. Good luck with that. Right. So it's a little bit different than a fractional CMO, because a fractional CMO is part of the leadership team and is part of the implementation portion of it and oversees the staff and all of that. So the difference here would be that a small business owner, when utilizing most marketing consultants, they and their team still have to do all of the work as opposed to a fractional CMO will kind of take the load off of that. When we talk about, if you don't mind, we're going to jump right into a marketing coach. So consultants and fractional CMOs often provide solutions and strategies, but a marketing coach's role is to guide and empower the business owner and their team to implement the marketing solutions themselves. So you can think of them more as a mentorship, because they help clients develop skills, understand marketing concepts, and then implement them effectively. It's more about teaching and guidance than direct implementation. But one of the best things about a marketing coach is that they should hold you accountable, you know, which is, we know this very well, is the key to getting busy business owners and their teams moving in the right direction. Because we know as small business owners, we wear tons of different hats all of the time, and we're pulled into so many conversations that if we don't have someone to hold us accountable, it'll probably get pushed back on the back burner. So those are kind of the key differences between those three leadership types of positions.
Oh, perfect. Thank you for breaking those down for us. So, Kelly, all three sound valuable in their own right in different ways, but how can a small business figure out which marketing leadership option will benefit their business most?
Well, that's a great question. And it really boils down to their specific needs. For strategic and executive level leadership and ongoing high level insights, a fractional CMO is probably ideal. If a business faces a particular challenge or a project, a consultant would be a good fit. And for those looking to enhance their marketing skills and want more of a guided learning experience, a marketing coach is really the best way to go.
Good deal. Okay, so Kelly, maybe I'm biased, but when you break it down like that, I think it becomes evident that every small business could benefit from some kind of marketing leadership. Small business owners tend to be really great at what they do. They tend to be really great at serving their customers well, but they aren't necessarily marketing experts, and they could use some marketing help so they can focus on other important aspects of their business. However, a problem we see regularly as a marketing agency for small businesses is that small business leaders don't seek out marketing guidance, and they just continue trying one marketing tactic after another, hoping that they'll get the results they need based on, whatever is trending on TikTok that week or whatever they saw online that they should try. So can you speak to this a little bit?
Yeah. And this happens all the time because they don't know what they don't know. Or they'll hire someone to come in and they're like, oh, thank you for taking over my marketing. And they just kind of go with that. But as we talked before, in other episodes, and we tell our clients all the time, is that one person can't be responsible for everything. They can't do everything. They can't know everything. They're going to need support. They're going to need training. They're going to need all of that. And there's so much marketing information out there. And small businesses are so used to doing everything themselves. Investing in an outside marketing leadership kind of seems like a crazy idea to them. So they're like, why do I need to do this? I have so-and-so to do this. I don't have to do it anymore. So now she's doing it. But here's the thing. Small business leaders work really, really hard to take their companies to the next level. But more often than not, their businesses plateau simply because they don't have effective marketing leadership, strategies, and systems. And just like we've talked about in all of these past episodes and, pretty much every conversation that we've ever had with anyone, we believe that successful businesses are a result of three things: selling a great product or service, offering incredible client experience, and having effective marketing strategies and systems. And this is because for most small businesses, passion and dedication lead great offers and customer service, right? Like that's what they lead to. So anybody that goes into business, they have a passion for what they're going to do. They're going to make sure they have a great product. But then they also understand the customer side of it. So I need to make my customers happy so they continue to come back. But hard work alone will only take a business so far. So without experienced marketing leaderships, companies are actually at a competitive disadvantage because they usually struggle to define a clear vision, build and implement marketing strategies, and even use their resources wisely, both monetary and human. right? Because how many times has a small business said, oh, thank you, we hired Diane and Diane is going to be able to do all of these things. But then they put so much weight and so much emphasis on Diane doing all of these things. They're not really utilizing their resources wisely because she can only do so much. So, and this is an issue for small businesses because getting to the next level, it really does require expert marketing leadership, a clear vision, and having proven marketing systems in place.
Absolutely. Okay. So I think most of our listeners are familiar with marketing coaching and even consulting, or at least they are now because you broke it down so well. But if you don't mind, I'd like to spend some time talking about your role as a fractional CMO and how this style of leadership can be beneficial for small businesses. So can you explain more about this role that you step into for some of our Treefrog clients?
Absolutely. So a lot of small businesses are familiar with a fractional CFO concept. So basically, most small businesses don't necessarily need a full-time chief financial officer. So they hire a fractional CFO to oversee their finances on more of a like a part-time basis. This way, the business gets the financial guidance they need, even if they can't afford a full-time CFO because, they're expensive, or they simply just don't need the full-time C-level type of executive. And choosing to work with a fractional marketing officer is very similar. So as a fractional CMO, I become part of a company's leadership team so that I can understand and refine and manage their marketing initiatives, their spending, their resources, and their staff in order to meet company goals and improve their overall sales. So essentially, I'm contracted as a part-time marketing executive that helps create a path to next level success by being on that small business's executive leadership team. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So basically, like fractional CMO, it's for a company that already has at least a small marketing team in place.
Right.
And, you're just stepping in to offer that leadership because I think, just the clarification, I think is helpful. I think there are a lot of small businesses out there that it's like, okay, I'm going to hire a graphic designer and we're going to hire a social media manager. And then you just think you're going to put them all in a room and they're going to figure it out. But that is not necessarily their level of expertise. Like,
right.
There's a reason we have a whole team of marketing professionals at Treefrog. Like we literally, none of us can do all of the things. So anyway, but love it. So a fractional CMO, yes, it's essentially part-time chief marketing officer who oversees and takes charge of a small business's marketing strategy. So Kelly, just so there aren't any questions about what a fractional CMO brings to the table, what are the benefits of working with a fractional CMO?
That's actually another great question. And honestly, the benefits are why I'm so glad we're having this conversation, because adding a fractional CMO to your team can bring big things for a small business. So a fractional CMO plays a critical role in shaping a business's marketing strategy and execution, just like a full-time CMO would. So I get to enter a company with a fresh perspective, which allows me to provide new insights about a company's current marketing initiatives, systems, strategies, goals. And all fractional CMOs, if you will, should have a wealth of experience so that they can bring clarity out of chaos, is kind of what we call it. Because when you enter a business, they're like, yeah, we need to do this thing and we don't know how to do it. Can you help us do that? Right. So they need to be able to see that clarity and develop it out of that marketing chaos or that development chaos. They need to be able to develop structure and then continuously analyze marketing performance and data, so they know what's working, what's not working, identify any areas of improvement, and then just fine tune those strategies to maximize that ROI. So that's why having somebody with years of experience and industry experience is going to be really, really important. So partnering with a fractional CMO, you're basically adding the marketing and know-how and their experience needed to finally take your small business to the next level. And you're doing it for kind of a fraction of the cost from adding a full-time CMO to your staff, because honestly, that will probably cost somewhere between $260,000 to $500,000 per year when you include their salary and insurance and bonuses. And I probably lost half of our audience right now by saying those numbers. But adding a fractional CMO, so a part-time chief marketing officer to your team, is likely going to cost somewhere between $90,000 and $150,000 a year, which sounds like a lot, but it's less than a third of the cost of a full-time CMO. And the benefits that you'll get and the return on investment and the growth that your business will see offsets what a lot of small businesses would think was an extensive cost for that.
Okay, so Kelly, that's obviously a huge savings, but like you said, that still sounds like a lot of money. So that people can better understand the value of a fractional CMO, what is a chief marketing officer specifically responsible for? We've talked about benefits, but like what are their specific duties?
And for the record, most of the small business leaders I know and work with are often hesitant to invest in consulting or similar services because often, like with their past consultants, these consultants have charged a lot of money and added to a small business's to-do list, but that's not what a fractional CMO does, right? Because when small business leaders look for marketing help, they actually want help. They don't necessarily always just want to be told what to do and then have to implement that all by themselves, right? So that's where the fractional CMO comes in. So the first thing as an experienced fractional CMO should do is to come in and get to know your business, meet with key stakeholders and team members and become familiar with your marketing challenges and understand and help you flesh out your business goals. And then from there, they should work with your leadership team to establish a clear vision for your business and then take on the responsibility of assessing your current marketing strategies, uncovering all of the obstacles and challenges that may have led them to kind of this plateau. They need to learn about the customer journeys and the customer experiences and meet with staff to gain insights. They need to do things like research your competitors, complete an analysis of your sales and marketing data, and so much more. Basically, their goal is to go in, understand who you are, what you want to do, understand what's happening right now, understand the resources that you have, both human and monetary, what's worked, what's not worked, to be able to help you get to the next level. And through all of that, they should be able then to provide and create a marketing strategy based on your company's goals and resources. So once all of that stuff happens, and for us, that normally takes around 90 days to complete that, then the CMO, the fractional CMO, is going to oversee the development of your marketing systems to make sure that your strategy is actually being implemented and tracked correctly. Because that's one of the big things, is that a lot of small businesses do a lot. They just don't know what's working and what's not because they don't have key metrics set up. They don't know what they should be tracking. They don't know all of that. So by marketing systems, I actually mean like the processes for the marketing efforts, which include what we need to do, how we're going to do it, what they're going to say, all of that. But again, going back to the tracking the metrics, that's extremely important. But I do want to be clear that if like running Google ads is part of your marketing strategy, a fractional CMO, like I would be responsible for making sure the tactic has systems and a sequence and protocols established. And then like the content and the assets are being used for a specific purpose. So everything is based around strategy. And this is important because so many small businesses waste time and money performing just tasks or releasing campaigns that won't necessarily help. But just to be clear again, as a fractional CMO, you shouldn't expect them to actually do the work of running the ads and creating it. They'll be responsible for overseeing your marketing strategy and processes, but not actually running it. And that's where a lot of the in-house marketing teams or the established agency partnerships, those types of things, they actually come into play.
And that makes sense because, I mean, this is a C-level executive, and you think about, big businesses, these C-level executives are not responsible for like the actual implementation or the nitty-gritty stuff. They're responsible for the big picture, making sure that the business is operating accordingly to its goals.
Right. They should be responsible for ensuring that your marketing strategy is being implemented and it's producing results, and for overseeing your marketing team. So, for example, if you have an in-house social media manager and copywriter, that individual would work with your CMO to implement your strategy and processes, and your CMO will make sure that this individual has everything they need to get their job done well. So, but if you don't have an internal staff, a fractional CMO can oversee freelancers or agency partners, kind of like what I said before. But again, we also run into people that may not have a network of marketing freelancers or an agency. So don't panic. Chances are that your fractional CMO will have a list of experts to pull from to get things done. So personally, when I function as a fractional CMO, I often pull in our Treefrog team. So in case this is your first episode, I'm going to give you a quick plug for Treefrog Marketing. It's because we're an agency for small businesses, and we have an entire team of strategists and copywriters and designers and marketing experts. And as a result, when I serve as a fractional CMO, I oversee the business's internal team. And if other marketing skills are needed, we pull from the Treefrog team. Meaning, for example, our team can create clear messaging or build a new business's website, those type of things. And it's kind of like what you and I talked about before, is not one person can do everything. And that's why the Treefrog team has so many people on it, because we're all experts in our own areas. And a CMO, a fractional CMO, should be able to deliver that to their customers, whether they're working in-house with somebody like Treefrog or freelancers.
Yes. And guys, just to clarify, Kelly's not pulling from our team like in this selfish way to make us more money. Like that's not what's happening here, but we have a team of people who are just really good at what they do. And we know that they can serve small businesses well, and we're familiar with working with one another. And yes, this just makes the system a lot more streamlined.
So the reason that I like to use the people that I know, like, and trust at Treefrog is that when you come in as a fractional CMO, you're held responsible for the outcomes of all of these things. So if you have the opportunity and the need arises to work with people that you already know and trust that can deliver results, that's what you want to do. Jumping back in, right? So no matter the size of the marketing team, I guess I want to make that clear. So even if it's just like a single marketing manager, a fractional CMO can still oversee those individuals and projects that they're working on, so that the small business leader or the owner can focus on, other team members or other aspects of the business and those types of things. Because when you're taking a business to the next level, marketing is key, but it's not the only thing that needs to be done. So if you want to partner with a fractional CMO who will be responsible for all the things that we just talked about, they will ultimately help you improve your overall sales and help you and your team reach specific business goals, right? That's the whole idea of bringing in a fractional CMO, is to create the strategies and systems that help move you into the next level to meet those business goals that we set.
What would you do with an extra 45 minutes every workday? That would save you 16 hours a month, or roughly 8 days a year. And over the course of your career, we're talking about over 1 year of your life saved. All that time back. Well, many independent business owners spend far more than 45 minutes a day on administrative tasks. And with HoneyBook, you can get that time back and then some. HoneyBook lets you easily manage projects, contracts, invoices, scheduling, and client communication, saving you time and allowing you to better serve your clients. For a discount on your first year of HoneyBook, visit honeybook.com and subscribe with the code PriorityPursuit. 45 minutes a day adds up quickly. Use it to focus on what matters most.
Many small businesses don't have an effective marketing strategy, and because of this, they try one tactic after another without seeing results. This not only prevents consistent business growth, it makes managing marketing efforts more difficult than it should be. As a marketing agency for small businesses, we understand how frustrating it can be when hard work doesn't deliver the results that you want. Because of this, Treefrog has developed a proven 4-step marketing system that will help any small business grow. On our website, you can also schedule a 30-minute discovery call to discuss working with Treefrog to build a marketing strategy that will allow your small business to finally see the growth you've been working so hard to achieve.
Kelly, I feel like there are a lot of small business leaders listening right now and thinking like, okay, this makes sense. I would love for somebody to take charge of our marketing so I don't have to do it anymore. And I'm ready to take my business to the next level. I know I need marketing leadership to help get me there. But basically, like, I think, somebody listening, they're sold. So with this in mind, what kinds of small businesses should partner with a fractional CMO? We started talking about this already a little bit, but it's not necessarily right for everybody. So what kinds of small businesses should partner with a fractional CMO, or when should businesses add a fractional chief marketing officer to their team? Like, what are the signs or what qualifications do they need to meet?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we kind of see two reasons that this is needed. One, if you aren't satisfied with your current marketing results and you want to grow your business, it's a great time to partner with the CMO, right? Like if you've done all of the things and you just don't know where to go next, that is a great opportunity. And then second is really when you've reached a sustainable revenue in which you can afford to invest in a fractional CMO. And for most small businesses, that's usually when you have an annual revenue of 2 million or more. And it's important because you're investing in the leadership aspect of it because you know that that's important. So knowing that you're here and you want to get here, you want to surround yourself with people that can help you get to the next level. And that's why an investment in a CMO is so critical. Just like you should at that same time be looking at investing in a fractional chief financial officer because you're going to need that financial guidance and all of that. It's also important to remember that a fractional CMO isn't a full-time employee. It's typically a great partnership for businesses who bring in between like 2 million and 30 million is kind of the sweet spot for that a year. And for businesses that make more than 30 million a year, it's probably time to hire a full-time C-level executive chief marketing officer as opposed to more of a part-time one.
Absolutely. And, guys, just in case you need one more, savings benefit, it's not like you're with a fractional CMO, you're not having to provide benefits or anything like that. So, just another little benefit. But Kelly, I really appreciate the numbers and clarity on that. That said, if someone is listening and thinking that they really want the clarity and direction a fractional CMO would give them, but there is just no way they can afford to add this part-time team member right now,
Right.
What advice would you give them?
And I'm glad you asked that because when we opened up this episode, we talked about the 3 different types of marketing leadership, right? So for those that aren't ready to invest in a fractional CMO yet, single project strategy development combined with marketing consulting or coaching is a great way to gain some big wins and prepare your company for the next level. Some small business owners may not want to grow their companies to the next level, or it may not be in the cards to do so, right? Like maybe, I know that we talk with a lot of photographers or a lot of creatives, and it just may not be possible for them to physically do enough things to take their business, to $2 to $30 million, right? And if that's the case, I want to encourage them to do one of 2 things. So 1, please know that you can hire a fractional CMO on a short-term strategy only basis. One of the things that we could do is that when they come to us, most of our fractional CMO clients come to us on an annual basis, but we also offer like a 3-month package or 3-month commitment where we will just come in and focus on strategy, not the implementation or the staff oversight. So essentially we work with your leadership team for 3 months to get to know you, your business, your goals, your resources, and then we can create a strategy and review it with you so that you and your team can implement the strategy yourselves. So it goes beyond what a traditional marketing consultant would do. So it's basically you get that C-level executive type of oversight and management for 3 months, and we build this great plan. And then if you or your team are capable of basically executing it, you have the pieces that you need to be able to do that. So a short-time partnership like this can bring a lot of clarity and direction to your marketing. But again, you'll just need to be responsible for making sure that every piece of that strategy gets implemented. But if working with a fractional CMO on any level is just really isn't an option, that's fine. But know that you still need to clarify your message and create a strategic plan of action. And I think Victoria and I have said that a million times probably over these last few episodes through the podcast, and it's in every single conversation that we have with people. And these 2 resources can actually help get you started to do that. So if you haven't identified your target audience and created your clear messaging yet, which is the first step to our flywheel marketing method, which I think was maybe an episode or 2 ago. I don't know. We'll link it in the show notes for you guys to find that if you're not familiar with the flywheel marketing method. But it is literally the best marketing strategy for small businesses. And again, something that Victoria and I have probably said about a million times. You're going to want to first clarify your message by writing your marketing guiding statements ASAP. So after all, knowing who you're talking to and what to say, it is the key to effective marketing. So if you like a step-by-step guide on this to be able to write your marketing guiding statements, you can take our free mini course at treefrogmarketing.com/marketing guiding statements, or you can just visit the link in the show notes. So I'm pretty sure that in every single episode for the last year, it seems like we've said, hey, clarify your message, and this is how you need to do it. So if you're not ready for a fractional CMO, clarify your message, and here's how to do it by taking this free mini course. And again, that we'll link it in the show notes. And then once you clarify your message and create your marketing guiding statements, we suggest that you implement the flywheel marketing method, which is a strategy that we use for many of our agency clients that has helped some grow by more than 800%. So we're not just saying, hey, just do this thing to give you a strategy. We're actually giving you a strategy and a system that will help begin to take your company to the next level. And you can learn more about this in episode 103. That's the number that I was trying to think of. Right? I think that's the right episode. Yeah. Okay. So we'll put it in the show notes. Otherwise, definitely clarify your messaging and then review the flywheel marketing method, because it's going to give you that structure and systems, at least to get started, to see some big wins, and then bring some strategy into what you're doing. So you can just kind of stop just doing a little bit of everything and praying that something works.
Kelly, thank you so much for giving all of our listeners strategic options and resources. Now, Kelly, if someone is listening and thinking, okay, a fractional CMO is going to be my next hire, how can they find a qualified fractional CMO? Unfortunately, this is not one of those job titles that's like, I mean, you could just slap it on something and claim to be a fractional CMO. So how do they know they're getting somebody who's qualified?
Yeah. And that's funny that you say that, because I think it's 36% of people that present themselves as fractional CMOs actually lack the skills and experience needed to perform the duties. They're like, oh, I could do this, right? And then they kind of get in over their heads, and then we start getting a bad name because they're like, well, I paid this money. Again, like some of the marketing consultants where it's, we paid this a lot of money, but we really don't know what we're doing. Here's some tips on if you're going to hire a fractional CMO. You can actually quickly weed out the less than qualified candidates by simply focusing on the types of questions the candidates ask. So if they're asking questions about your overall business, your structure, products, current challenges, the competition, you're off to a great start. However, if they immediately want to discuss like implementation or execution and the latest marketing tactics, that candidate is likely not a great fit. Your CMO is part of your executive leadership team. And while they need to be up to date on all the things marketing, they actually should be concerned more about the big picture first, which is why that distinction in those two different types of questionings can help you really understand if they have what you're looking for or not. And then the other thing you can do is ask the candidate about what you should expect within the first 90 days of your partnership. If they kind of give you a blank stare or they give you some general answers, and if they don't have set protocols that they offer, especially with basic timelines and deliverables, they might not be right for your company as well. And this is because experienced fractional CMOs understand that although the industries may differ in the ones that they work with, the trends, the problems, and the flawed executions are very similar. So they all should have created protocols to more easily bring these areas to the forefront of the conversation. So when you ask them about that, they should easily say, oh, this is what you should expect in the first 90 days. We're going to do this, then we're going to do this, and this is what you should expect in this timeline, and so forth.
I mean, that's such good advice. If someone is more worried about the nitty gritty details than the overall strategy, they're probably more of a marketing manager than a chief marketing officer. Okay, so Kelly, before we wrap up this episode, I just have one last question for you. And that is, why do you personally choose to serve as a fractional CMO for small businesses?
Oh, well, honestly, I'm really glad that you asked this, because this is a Treefrog service that I am particularly passionate about. But my answer is really simple. Over the last 2 decades of working with small businesses, I've had the pleasure of witnessing the fierce passion that drives small business leaders to achieve success. And time again, I've watched ineffective marketing strategies and systems stand in the way of a small business reaching their goals. So yes, at Treefrog, we can build websites, we can manage your SEO, we can offer standalone and a la carte, marketing services. But a big part of what I do personally is serve as a fractional CMO because I know that strategic marketing is the key to small businesses' success. So basically, I feel called to serve small businesses in this capacity because I know having a clear vision and an effective marketing strategy and consistent marketing systems can help small business owners and leaders in their teams. They can have a thriving business and lives outside of the office because nobody should have to worry about marketing 24/7 or sitting in the baseball stands trying to figure out what they're going to do next, whether trying to watch their kid play baseball or wasting their Saturday creating a marketing strategy. Like I don't want that for people. So if I'm able to come in and create and help them create these clear plans of action that bring peace of mind and results, that's where my passion lies for helping these types of business leaders.
Amen to all of that. And Kelly, your passion for small businesses is one of the many, many reasons I enjoy working with you. So Kelly, if anyone listening wants to learn more about our Fractional Chief Marketing Officer services, what should they do? Where should they go?
If you're ready to work with a fractional CMO and you think that maybe I might be a right fit for you, visit treefrogmarketing.com to learn more about the service and to schedule a discovery call. And during this discovery call, I'll personally break down what our fractional CMO process looks like and answer any questions that you have. Then together, we can determine if we're a good fit or not. And then again, whether you choose to work with me or another experienced fractional CMO, please know that you deserve a marketing strategy and partner that works as hard as you do. But hard work will only get you so far, and delivering exceptional products and services will only get you so far, and offering great customer service will only get you so far. So don't let a lack of strategic marketing be the single thing that prevents your business from getting to the next level. And if you can't tell, I could talk about this all day, so I will let you interject. And this episode doesn't need to be an hour and a half long because I get off on a tangent.
We can talk about it more at, a later date. But
Right.
Kelly, thank you so much for having this conversation. And to those of you listening, we'll be sure to include all mentioned links and resources in the show notes. Also, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Priority Pursuit. If you enjoyed this episode, we hope you'll take a moment to share it with your small business friends. They might benefit from having a fractional CMO or learning more about this concept. We hope you'll also take a second to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and that you'll join us next week for even more marketing, boundary, and priority-driven tactics you can use to build a life and small business that you love.